Hello everyone, me Jose, 32, back with How to Play. Today we're going to be looking at Gem Dealer, which is by Griffin Eagle Games. This is actually, it's by Rainer Knizia. This is one of 5 games in the set. This one's number 3. I got For Sale, which is number 2. And then there's some others that I have, but I don't know if I have the regular version or not. High Society. I don't have the version, and then this one I think is also not the actual version. Now there's also a travel version which I got first by mistake. It's just cards. If you want to buy it, let me know. I have it available. This is the one I'm keeping though because it comes with these cool gems in it. And actually comes inside this nice little clear box. And the rules are behind this card tray, it says. They are. I mean, you could put the rules on top, but then you're not going to see the gems through the window. I'm going to dump out these gems, I guess. And these are, they're real. Very expensive. No, they're obviously plastic. White, purple, blue, red, and green, the 5 colors. And you're going to be playing until somebody wins 4 out of 5 colors, or if you want to amp up the challenge, until somebody has won 1 of each color. And it's a bidding and auctioning game. The cards, they just have the different gems and colors on them. Now there are some that are wild cards. All cards are numbered 1 through 5. But there are 10s, which are wild cards in any color. And I believe there's also, yes, there's 7s in each color as well. That's the highest card. But it's mostly 2 through 5. I don't think there's 6s. And there's a couple of those 10s. Ages 8 and up, 3 to 5 players. By Griffin Eagle Games. The quality of the cards, it is a linen embossed finish. However, it's a very kind of a clumpy, sticky deck, unfortunately. But it is what it is. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes. We'll just kind of speed run through a round or two. You get 90 gem cards, 18 in each of the 5 different colors. Red ruby, blue sapphire, purple amethyst, green emerald, and clear diamond. And these gems mats, of course. You also get, and then the values 2, 3, 4, 5, and 7, which is the quality of the gem. And 6 wild cards, 3 each in rainbow colors at the values of 7 and 10. So there's also wilds, number 7. And of course the 25 acrylic gems in each color. No, I'm not counting how many I have. I totally am. Yeah, I got 5 in each. Perfect. Now, with this version, you don't have the gems, but you do have cards that represent the gems. Again, I think this is much prettier, much nicer. And it's just much cooler, you're actually collecting the gems and not just some, cards. The rest of the cards are the same. So, you're going to shuffle all the cards, and you're going to distribute them with a starting player being randomly selected and being dealt a hand of 4 cards. All other players get 5 cards. So we'll say I'm the starting player, and I get 4 cards. Everyone else gets 5 cards. We'll just do 3 players. So the first starting player gets 4 cards. Everyone else gets 5 cards. And I'm going to look at my cards here and see what do I want. Maybe I want to go for the amethyst. Maybe. So yeah, I'm going to go for the Amethyst, and you announce the one and put down your card. 5 for Amethyst. So every other player has the opportunity to bid, and that guy has the smaller card. So does that guy, although he does have the wild card. Let me just remind myself of the rules. And this is your display. When you put a card out here, this is your display. You can only use cards of the color that you're bidding for, and you cannot bid for. I cannot bid for the ruby because I don't have any red, for instance, or the blue ones, the sapphire. So I bid. You know what? I'm gonna go for these ones, the green ones. So I bid 2 for the green one. You're gonna go clockwise, and you're gonna continue until all players but one have passed. And of course, other players have to bid higher than what you have to bid, than what you bid in order to stay in it. So I bid 2. This guy, he cannot beat me, so he has to pass. And this guy as well, same thing, although he could play that wild card. Maybe he decides to keep it. So I give up that, and I collect a green gem. And I'm going to draw back up to my cards, I do believe. Yeah, if you don't have enough of the gem cards for what's going on in the bid, you have to pass. Or you can pass for strategic reasons. Namely to retain cards that you have for possible bidding contests later in the game. Now, actually, I should mention, when you pass, you have to draw a card from the deck. So, you guys passed, I have to draw a card. And I give up that card and collect the gem. You might go around multiple times with people increasing their bids. You're also going to draw a card whenever you add a card to your display. So, to start over again, I guess. So, I play this card, add it to my display, I draw a card. The next player passes, they just draw a card. And this guy passes, he draws a card. And then I win the green gem. Because I had the highest bid and everyone else has passed. If a person has a card in the display and they pass, they take that card and put it face up into a discard pile in front of them. And that card is out of the game. So you have to discard any cards that you bid with that you don't use. That's interesting. And every time you play a card, you're going to draw cards. But if you pass, maybe this guy had a card here and he passes, well, this card's going to go in the discard pile, and then he's out and he doesn't draw any more cards. But obviously that didn't happen. Once everyone has passed, whoever has the highest total wins the contest and discards his display. But he does not draw a card, so I apologize. I'm just all over the place here. So, well, actually, no, it does say. Yes, so after you add to your display, you draw a card. Then, once it comes around to you and everyone has passed, you discard the card, you take your gem, and you do not draw again. So, I'm at 4 cards still. Whoever wins starts the next contest. So now maybe I'm going to do Amethyst. And I play that 5 into my display, and I draw a card. This guy says, you know what, I'm going to beat that. I'm going to make it 6. And you would do that, obviously, because he wants the gem. He also doesn't want me to get the gem. And then he's going to draw a card. Then maybe this guy decides he wants to play the 7, the wild 7, and beat that. And he's going to draw a card back up. Actually, he has to play at least 1 gem card. So maybe he makes it 10. You have to, when you play a wild card, have at least 1 of the gems there. You can't just play the wild card. So I apologize for that. Now, you can play 1 or more of the wild 7 cards in a bidding contest. If it's a 10, you can only play 1 per player in a bidding contest. And if you do not win the contest, in spite of playing the Rainbow Gem 10, he has to put back 1 of those previously acquired gems of his choice. So if you play a wild 10 and you don't win the contest, you got to put a gem back. So you want to be careful of that. So this guy has 10. I pass, so I'm going to take a card. This guy, he could win, but he decides to pass. He decides to pass, so he's going to draw a card. And this guy wins. So all these cards are gone. And this guy wins the Amethyst. And then you're going to keep going around, like I said, until somebody has won 4 out of 5 gems. Or all 5 if you want to go a little bit more advanced. And, you know, one thing you might want to do is, let's say, for instance, I had this. I already have a blue gem. But maybe I played a 7 and go for blue again. Why would you do that when you already have a blue one? To prevent other players from getting a blue one. And maybe it started off with this guy playing a 3. And then I play a 7 and I beat it. Even though I don't need the blue one. And then it comes around to him. He can't beat it, so he's out. And I would obviously win, but I don't get the gem since I already have one. I just prevent him from getting one. So that's a little strategy, a little tactic you can use as well. Now, once and only once during a bidding contest, every player is permitted to play as many concealed face-down cards as you want. So you can play some face-down cards, and they can be whatever you want, like that. They don't have to be, like maybe you're going for a red. None of these are red, but I can go 6. And you can't play them along with, you know, in this case, a red card. You don't have to. But the point value of these is actually only going to be 1 each. So that would only be 2. So, you know, if I were to add these cards, then that would be 6, for instance. But obviously, I couldn't add both of these because they're different. I can only add 1 And in this case, I can't because they're just red. But, you know, this is an interesting tactic to maybe trick somebody. You know, maybe I do that free and then I win the ruby one and I don't even have a ruby card. And that gets me the game. So you could use that tactic as well. It's an interesting tactic. But again, face down concealed bid cards are worth 1 point each, not the face value. And it's especially good as well if you have only ones or twos, or, well, twos or threes, low cards of colors that you don't need, for instance. Like, this guy already has a bunch of cards, a bunch of gems. He just needs the red one. So you could just play 4 cards and say, you know, they're red and they're not, and he would win in this case because nobody else could beat that unless they want to do the same thing. But any other cards that you play in a subsequent round, let's say it comes back around to me, if I want to stay in, now I must play a card that matches the gem. Again, the game ends as soon as somebody gets 4 different gems, or 5 if you want to be a little bit more challenging. I think it's a pretty cool game. I apologize for botching the rules a little bit there, but I think I clarified, so everyone's going to get their cards. The first person starts off with 4, everyone else gets 5. I would say, you know, I'm going to go for Emerald. Everyone else gets a chance to bid. They have to beat what I did, or they pass. And whenever I play a card to this pile, I draw a card. These other players, okay, he passes, so he gets a card, he passes. Or maybe he decides to do this. He plays a 5, and he's going to draw 1 card, not 2. And it comes back to me. Now I can beat that, so I do. And then this guy's already passed. This guy passes, draws a card. I think he already drew a card for passing, whatever. And then I win. So then I get the green. And all these cards in the display get removed. And you keep going around until somebody wins 4 different colors. Like I said, I talked a little bit about the wild cards. It can be any color, but if it's the first round of bidding, you have to play a card that matches the color. Or you can do faced out cards as a concealed bid, but they're only 1 point each. And yeah, and of course, if you play a 10 and you don't win the round, what was it again? You lose one of your gems if you have one. But if you don't, then you don't lose anything. So that is that. Apologize if this is a bit long or a bit all over the place. I do apologize. Comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think. We'll see you next time for more. Thanks for watching. I like it.